I work in and around LA. Yeah, we can start with the first thumbnail you can go through. But not exclusively, because we travel all over the place to go work. And in fact, I just moved to Moreno Valley. I will be moving back to LA, but it's kind of nice. It feels like a little vacation home. And I've worked in Palm Springs and down in San Diego and stuff like that. So, which I'm sure you can, as an actor, you're all over the place, right?
Yeah, and the next 2 weeks I'll be in Georgia, Nashville, Detroit, and Cleveland.
Yes, and so it's very important for an actor to be, I think, to be central and to be in LA and live there. But for the rest of us, if you're a crew, you're really all over the place. As long as I'm close to an airport, I'm okay. So I grew up in Long Beach, and I went to Long Beach City College. I have a background in technical theater. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I double majored in theater and anthropology. And I guess, theater, of course, has a lot to do with makeup and film. I was a directing major, but I stage managed for a long time, and so being a stage manager, you kind of have to do everything. I did lights, sound, costumes, makeup, and then that's where I got my interest in costume and makeup. And then anthro, I did museum studies, and that's presentation, that's exhibition, so that kind of went along with it. But I feel like, just like for actors or for anybody in the film industry, it's important that you know more than one thing. Just, be a Renaissance person. Okay, so I went to Cal State Fullerton, got my degrees, and then worked with the Long Beach Playhouse, Long Beach Shakespeare, International City Theater, did a lot of theater, and then I wanted to do makeup. So I had the Joe Blasco catalog underneath my bed for 2 years, and I'd look at it and cry and think, God, I want to do this. And then I did. You know what? I just picked up, I grabbed all my stuff and moved to Hollywood. I moved across the street from the school so that I could walk to school every day and be there and do the hour before and the 2 hours after, and really, just be in LA and just do it. You really, if you do want to do it, you need to jump in with both feet. You can't think, well, I mean, I understand, because I did have a sort of in-between job, so you kind of put your foot in the water and you think, okay, well, I'm going to be a makeup artist. Oh, I get it, we've got to pay my rent. Okay. All right, no, I'm going to take these jobs. I'm like, oh, but I have got a phone bill. So it's hard in the beginning, and so what I did was I started doing student films. I feel like that's a really great place to start. You're going to cut your teeth, and the turnaround is so quick. The kids at that point, it depends on what level they're at, maybe don't really realize what they're doing. They're in the process of learning as well, so you can make your mistakes. They're going to shoot it. It's due next week, so you'll have an opportunity to see it just the day after. So the turnaround's really high, and that's really nice. So you can look and correct your mistakes and sort of build your portfolio, your reel, get photos and things like that to build your resume. They don't, in the beginning, you don't necessarily need to tell everybody it's a student film. Just show them the pictures when you go in for your interview. Show them your portfolio and say, this is what I can do. I've worked with USC, which I think is a really good school. If you are going to start working as a makeup artist, go with grad students or seniors, because they're going to be closer to graduating, closer to working in the industry. But Loyola and NYFA and AFI and stuff, wherever you can get work, really. And that's important, because work begets work. So the more work you get, the more people are going to meet. And then, just hand out, man, in the beginning I was handing out 2 or 3 business cards. I'd give you 2 and say, give one to a friend. So just really, it's self-promotion. And I think that's what the whole industry is about, is, God, just let the world know what you can do. Okay, so some of my credits include, this is from the Hungover Games. I do a lot of independent film, non-union, some union stuff. I'm not union currently. I'm just a little shy last year. So I have another year that I either have to put in 30 days to become a union makeup artist, or I have to wait an entire year and do 60 days within that year so they can qualify for 60, 60, 60, which is 60 days a year for 3 years within 5 years. And then you can apply, pay your $6,500, and become a union makeup artist. But this is the thing. You don't necessarily have to do that. Don't force yourself into the union. The reason that they want you to take between 3 to 5 years to get into the union is that so you're learning how to become a makeup artist. You're learning how to work on set. You're learning how to do this makeup. You're not green, And so doing student film at the beginning is a great place to start. You're learning a little bit about being on set. You're also learning what they're learning in their classes, because there's a lot of this, like I'm learning. And I don't know if you guys were here for the last seminar, and that guy kept asking, like, oh, well, the directors don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're doing. And I think maybe on that level they don't, but that's also good for you to learn. It's not just about learning what you need to know. What you need to know is about learning what you don't want to be a part of, So maybe in the beginning you do need credit, so you will take terrible student films, but then after a while you'll say, you'll be a little more selective, and you'll realize, okay, these people are not organized, they don't have a call sheet, they don't have a schedule, the script isn't finished, those little things. Okay, so like Loyola, Columbia, NIFA, AFI, those are great places to start. So if you really want to become a makeup artist, do you want to do special effects? Or what kind of makeup do you want to do? All of it, good. And you know what? You have to. Because you're going to get the job over someone else who maybe can only do beauty or who can only do special effects. If you can do light hair, slide. Do light, just say, you know, I can do light hair, I do special effects, I do beauty, I do glamour, I do, you know, injury simulation, casual simulation, excuse me. Isn't there water in here? Okay, great.
Not that much, if you want to take the
Okay, let's see. I know I wrote all these notes because, you know, I do demos, and usually I'm doing something while I'm talking, so it's nice to be distracted, but here you all are. Yes.
Are you concerned at all that once you get into the union that you'll have less work?
Yes and no. I know a lot of people in the union, so I feel like I might have more opportunity than other people who don't. But yes, because, you know, because I can't predict the future. I don't know when my work's going to come now, and then I'll be really brand new in the union, so how will I get work then? But they do make concessions, and you can get permission to do non-union work. And so, because they do understand that you are required a certain amount of hours per year, and I don't know if it's the same with
Well, no,
yeah.
For extras and for actors in general, it's like the moment you join the union, one of the rules that people misstate all the time is you'll never work again.
Yeah.
Because there's fewer jobs and there's more people going after them. But I was wondering if in the makeup business that, because makeup is often the position that is paid
Yeah.
in student films.
Oh yeah.
And in that the actors aren't paid, the other thing. So, you know, it's like, are you leaving a nice big chunk of change behind by going union?
Well, not necessarily, because I feel there is a scale, so I will be making, well, potentially better money. But when I did the Hungover Games, for example, this is from there, that film flipped, but it flipped, which means that it became union before they had even brought in the actors, anything like that. And even, in fact, before they brought me and my crew in, but they made a concession for us, because they, I guess the union contacted the film the Friday before we were to start that Sunday. So they said, listen, we can't fire our department heads. We start on Sunday. They've already done all this prep and all this work. So they made us get rid of all of our crew, and we had to hire union people. Well, those union people were clamoring for hours, and you know what? They were making $14 an hour. I mean, if you really break it down to how much, and that was, I mean, that's, I think that, it wasn't ultra low, but it was pretty low. It was a pretty low budget film. But yes and no, because you never know what the future holds. I could fall into a really great show. I work with 5 Second Films. They're really good. They do some union stuff. Josh Stolberg, who does, he did that movie Piranha and Sorority Row, and Piranha 3, I don't know, every single version of Piranha that's out there, I think he did. But he, you know, he does a lot of union films, and Letter Blue, I work with productions, and they do a lot of union films. So, yeah, I'll hope for the best. But at this point, I'm going to start teaching special effects in Newport Beach and in Temecula too. So I'm kind of going to supplement my income that way, because I don't know. It's hard. It is hard. Some months I'm rolling around in money, and some months I am, you know, I should be much thinner, is what I say, because I never have food in my refrigerator, you know. And you have to learn how to, and I'm sure this is actors' experience too, you kind of have to learn how to ride that wave. Like, you know, yes, okay, I'm going to get a really good check this week, but I got to float that till the next month, because I don't know what I'm doing next month. I haven't booked anything there. Or I have, but I'm not booked until October, you know. Luckily for me, so I do a big show called Outrageous Acts of Science every year. I mean, you know, well, we've gotten picked up. That was our 3rd year, earlier this year. So hopefully we get picked up for a 4th season next year. But, you know, that may only last 5 or 6 seasons. You never know how, you know, the public is fickle, so you don't know. These science shows are really popular and they're really great, but you never know what people want. So I've had that for the past 3 years, and that happens in the spring. Outrageous Acts of Science on the Science Channel, it's a good one. And then at the end of the year, in October, I do a big show called Delusion, and that's theater. They call it a haunted play, but it's sort of an interactive show. It's more than a haunted house because there's a lot of dialogue. It's you know, more like a play because there is that dialogue. But I know that I've got those 2 shows. One at the beginning of the year, one at the end, and then it's just my job to fill right in the middle. Now when you're starting in the beginning, it's going to be really hard, because generally, okay, you're starting with a student film. Okay, those people graduate, and now they're making 1 or 2 films a year. Well, they make that 1 film, you work with them, that's great, you get paid, and you're not going to see them for a year, because they have to finish that film, they have to edit it, they've got to pitch it, they're trying to get distribution, they're trying to work their movie. you know, and they don't have time to invest in another project, you know. But the more you do those, you start overlapping your work, and then, you know, I work pretty regularly, I really do. I mean, sometimes I have forced vacations, which is nice, but, you know, generally I'm busy. And the best thing that you can do,
Yeah. One thing, you have water now, just so you know.
I do, thank you.
Yeah. And then on Outrageous Acts of Science, which is one of my favorite shows,
Yay.
do you do the makeup for the interviewees?
Yes.
For the experts?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not doing special effects, or you're...
No, that's one of the things about being a makeup artist. Sometimes you take the beauty gigs, and frankly, beauty is your bread and butter, because I don't like to do weddings. I find weddings way more stressful than a full production, than an entire, doing this for a month and a half. Like, I'd much rather do this and deal with the bride, you know what I mean? Because I think those people have unrealistic expectations. I'm working with a crew of people who have realistic expectations of their schedule, of the director's vision, of, you know, what we can accomplish with prosthetics, what we can accomplish, you know, on the budget that we have. But people show up pictures and they say, I look like Heidi Klum, and I say, it's a brush, not a wand, like, what do you want, you know? So, but you know, but this is my comfort zone, this is my home. But I will do beauty. But sometimes you'll work on projects where you have the opportunity to bring in friends, so I will be able to bring in my beauty people, my hair people, oh my god, amazing. And if you have other weird, you know, sort of necessities for a film, like, oh, I need cornrows. I did a Margaret Cho music video with Andrew Bird, and I'm like, I can't do cornrows, what am I going to do? So I had my hair person and me, and then we brought someone in to do the cornrows, which was really nice. So when you have a little bit of a budget, then you can start playing around. But yeah, it's all over the place. And okay, so the one thing I was going to say, the best thing you can do if you don't have work is to create your own work. So I don't have a film. Oh my god, you know, I don't have anything coming up. I've got this entire month. What am I going to do? I'll call a friend, call a model. Model Mayhem, I know it's a horrible place, but that's a place where you can get free models. Set something up in the house, in the backyard, do something interesting, go to the park, you know, do a weird special effect, or a beauty, whatever you like, do a pinup, whatever you want. Take pictures of it, put it up on your website. People think you're working. As long as it looks like you're working, you know what, you're working. And I think being successful in this industry is, it's hard because, yes, you want to make money, and you know, I guess that's what most people think. They think fame and fortune, that's how you know that you've made it. But if you can work regularly, and you can pay your rent, and you can enjoy your life, and you're not, you know, everybody struggles, but, you know, you're doing all right, I think that's success, you know. Oh, this is Jeremy Jackson from Baywatch. All right, so yeah, the one thing that I really, really like about doing this is I get to work with a lot of the people that I watched growing up. I worked with Ed Asner twice. He's a pervert. Who knew? She knew. That's what I'm saying. You know, I got to do Robert Wagner's makeup, and I'm thinking, heart to heart. You know what I mean? Like, it's so nice to be able to work with people you grew up watching.
And was he that handsome in like real life? Or
Who, Robert Wagner?
Yeah.
He's much older now, but yeah, he's still very attractive.
Handsome.
Yeah, absolutely. Tara Reid was in the Hungover Games. That was interesting. Just, you know, it's just always random people. Or, you know, a good example is Jamie Kennedy. He produced the Hungover Games. He played a couple of the Johnny Depp characters. Because, okay, so basically the Hungover Games is a mesh of the Hunger Games and the Hangover. So the Hangover guys, they got lookalikes. They fall into this, you know, futuristic dystopia, and they have to save their friend who was lost by volunteering for the Hunger Games. And there's different districts. So there's the gratuitous nudity district, so all the girls are topless. There's the Johnny Depp district, and it's Willy Wonka and Tonto and Captain Jack Sparrow, so there's all the versions and stuff. Well, Jamie Kennedy played one of the, he played that. He played Tim Gunn in because the district people, you know, when you go for the training and stuff, they're all, you know, fashioned out, what is it, what?
Fashionistas?
Yeah.
No, what's Tim Gunn, he's on Project Runway. You know, they're all Project Runway out. And, you know, I really like Jamie Kennedy's Heckler, because I think he talks a lot about, have you seen that one? So good, he talks a lot about, like, I guess your reputation in the industry. I think it's much harder for actors. For us, we're sort of anonymous. I come in, I do my work, people dig it. You know, the people who know who I am are the people who are producing and things like that, but the general public has no idea who I am, you know. But, so Jamie Kennedy has this sort of persona of being goofy, and people hate him, and they want to heckle him and stuff. But I worked with him, and you come to find that, oh, you know, wow, he's actually a really nice guy, and he's really funny and kind of mellow, and people aren't exactly the way that you think that they are. And so, although it's a benefit to be able to work with these people, that's not why I do it. I'm not bothered by celebrities, do you know what I mean? That's why I generally don't ask for pictures or or those sort of things. I'm there for the work. I'm doing it for the money, but I'm also doing it for the work, you know. Larry Cedar, I love him. He was on, I think it was like 3-2-1 Contact, Dragnet in the 80s. Anybody remember him? But he's also in the Crazies, and he does a lot of work. He's actually one of those character actors, one of those day players that you, like you were discussing. Larry Cedar, you'll see him all over the place. You don't know his name, but he is all over the place.
Lots of commercials too.
Oh yeah, yes, he's all over. Okay, let's see. Well, okay, so what is a special effects makeup artist? Well, we're the ones doing all the special effects. So anything from prosthetics to injury simulation, little things, perspiration effects, that's considered special effects. So you ever see someone sweaty in a film? Someone did that. You know what I mean? They maybe didn't wait 5 minutes for them to jog around and get sweaty. They actually brought someone to do it. So like this is paint and powder, this is out of kit. I didn't use any prosthetics for this. Generally, I thought there'd be more filmmakers in here, and they told me that there'd be a lot of sort of low budget, like up and coming sort of ish filmmakers. You're going to be dealing with makeup artists that work out of kit. You can buy stock prosthetic pieces if you have a budget. Generally, when I'm doing a big budget film, we'll build everything from scratch, or we'll commission a lab to do it. I've got a lot of friends that work in labs, so I like to throw work their way, because when it comes time, they'll throw work my way, you know. I always try and bring in as many people as I can, that, you know, what the budget will allow. The show that I'm doing right now, Delusion, if you guys want to check out the website, it's enterdelusion.com. I'll bring in vendors. My friend Chris from VFX Effects, he is making plague doctor masks for me. That's something that I probably could do. I have a lot on my hands, but you know what? If I commission it from someone else, if I bring someone else in, so when he has something maybe next year, he's got a big project, he can think of me. And that's one big thing about makeup. You have to network, you have to get out there, you really have to talk to people and make sure that they see your work and say, oh, this is from a pilot I did, and I hopefully it'll go on and we'll get picked up or something, because it was really, really funny. You know, Raymond Lee, he's like the only hot Asian actor right now in Hollywood. So if you ever see a commercial, I think there's like a car commercial, there's a, what else? Maybe like breakfast cereal or something like that, but like, you don't ever see any, you know, I mean, there'll be the one. So that was Zombros, and it was really cute, and the intro was really funny. It looks like step by step from, do you guys remember TJF? Yeah. TJF, yay. It's Friday nights. Oh, Doritos commercial. Yeah, so it just shows like the process and stuff like that. So you'll be doing a lot of things. Like this Doritos commercial was 2 days. 2 days? You know, 2 days of work, and then I've got the rest of the week. I've got the rest of the month. So you're always trying to book and overlap. Let's see here. All right. So I guess, well, see, this is all geared towards the filmmaker. Where would you find a special effects makeup artist? Okay, I suppose I could tie this into where would you find work as a makeup artist. I'd say to the filmmaker, look on Mandy, look on, damn, you just Google special effects makeup artists, and people are smart and they put a keyword in there and you pay your 5 cents, you know, your name will come up immediately. But I think that's the hardest part too, because you don't know, I mean, all my work is my work. I don't like to, I will put collaborative things on here if it's good enough, but generally I don't like to put shared work up. I want my work. Everything that I've done, I want it to be up there, and I'm honest about it. This is what I did, you know. And if I did share, you know, if I do share credit with someone, I'll make sure to credit them. But you know, you don't know if if it's that person's work. And generally, low budget, you won't have tests. In high budget things, you'll have a bunch of tests. So, but there's a difference. When you're low budget, they're going to hire people you don't. You're going to hire people you don't know. But when you're high budget, you're definitely going to hire someone you do know and that you trust. This is Marco Kahn. He was in 10,000 BC and Iron Man. He plays a lot of terrorists. You know. Well, that's another thing about being typecast. He works all the time because he looks like a big scary terrorist. You know. And if you just like makeup artists, you know, find your little niche. You know, are you really, really good at bald caps? Are you really good at zombies? Are you really good at injury simulation? Like, go with what you know. Definitely know beauty. Definitely know glamour. Definitely know how to do light hair and all the things that you need to do to be on set so you can get the job. But you'll get to a point, like, it's nice. I do a lot of films where I just come in and do the special effects. I'm going to come in. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to hang out in the trailer for a little bit. Oh, they're going to send them in. I'm going to do the bald cap. Perfect. Send them out, and they'll send them out with an assistant. Awesome. And I get to chill until lunchtime. Or I'll do a lot of big films, but then I'll still go and do a lot. I'll take as much work as I can get. Is my problem. So I'll still do low budget stuff. I try not to do student anymore, only if it's. I have a couple of friends who went back to school, so I'll work with them because I like them, and I'm willing to do it for them. But This was one of, I didn't have work, so me and my friend, her boyfriend works at EBS in Burbank. They have a big green screen. We just set up, I did a zombie, my friend came and did the beauty and the hair. We went to the thrift store and then just put it together and, yes.
What is your website?
It is elrod.format.com.
Oh, there you go. That's convenient.
Yeah, so creating work while you're taking work, understanding that, yes, you're going to get the big stuff, but you still got to do the small stuff. So do photo shoots. You never know where you're going to meet people. It's always a friend of a friend of a friend. And Facebook is a great networking place too. I generally don't like to do business on Facebook. So I don't like, but I will post pictures, and so sometimes that piques people's interest. But I'll always post it with my website. So, and if you want to do business with me, please contact me through my website. This is from Delusion last year because it's a play. And we don't have touch-ups, so I don't have time. Through the course of the show, I can't go in there and fix anything. So, I don't know if you have you worked with alcohol palette. Do you do any special effects? Do you do any special effects yet? Alcohol palette is a really great tool. I don't know. Are you planning on going to makeup school or take a short course? Take a short course. So I think your best bet is to get in there, learn what you need to know, and just start working. Just start working. Don't spend a ton of money. If you want to, and you've got them, then do it. It's really nice. I went to Glasgow. They had a facility for prosthetics, so I could run foam. I could, sculpt. I could do all those things, and it was a really great place to be. But I am balls deep in student loans, and I really didn't need to be. I needed to go. I needed to learn all the basics because when I got to set, the lady that I was working with was like, "What are you doing? Put that down. Do it this way." As long as you sort of have an understanding of how to do basic cuts and bruises, how to make someone look sickly. Grease someone's hair up, make them sweaty, make sure that, they look like a zombie. You will learn because the more you work, the better you get. So practice makes perfect, definitely, in this line of business. This was for a zombie walk. This is a private makeup. This was someone hired me to come on down to Long Beach, do their makeup for the zombie walk, and so I was in and out in 3 hours. And those are really great days, too, because I work for 3 hours, I get a nice big check, and then I get to go home. Yay.
That looks like one of those zombie head mold things.
You know what? I made this at home. This is the thing. And so at home, I ruin my oven if I try to make anything in my oven. So I found really great ways and other products to use that I could make that are either quick set or, I can mix them up, but I don't need to bake them. And this is actually a mold from Party City for, a Jell-O mold.
Yeah, because I did one with latex.
Yeah, I remember. All I did, I just brushed some latex in there with a chip brush. I put a little bit of cotton in there and gave it a little bit of texture. You can get flocking. If you guys have a chance, go to Nigel's, go to Namie's, go to Friends. These are all the places you want to go to shop for product. Wander around, ask questions. They have a special effects person hanging out in the back, not doing anything, and they will answer any questions. I don't know everything. You can't Google everything. How many times have I been on a film where, oh my God, the first one, hey, I gotta make a lady look like a tree. I was like, I gotta make a lady look like a tree? Yeah, all right, yeah, I can do that. And then I go home and I think, oh my God, they're gonna fire me. I can't, what did I get myself into? You figure it out. I took a life cast of my neighbor's tree. That's how I did that. I went to Party City and got a mold, a Jell-O mold, and here we go, I did this. You figure out how to do it. If you have friends that work in labs, or if you have friends that have labs, you can go and utilize their expertise, use their facility and stuff like that. But generally, especially in the lower budget ones, you don't have time time may be more than money, but and that's one of the big points that who is anybody here a filmmaker? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Thank you. Good job. Because this was all geared towards filmmakers, and now we have a lot of makeup artists. Okay, so.
Okay, but we're cosplayers, so that's still good.
No, that's really good too, because that's theater. Because that's theater and that's live, and so that's kind of that delusion picture. You're creating something that someone's going to stand right here and look right at your face, and if you can make it look realistic from a few inches away, then you've done it right. I do every once in a while. I haven't been doing her lately, but my friend Rana McNear, she was the face model for Samara for Mass Effect. So I go to, I've been with her to where did I go? Like Dragon Con, Comic Con, Long Beach Con, all those, and Paint or Blue, do the whole 9 yards. That's another great place. Private makeups are a really great place to make money. Because you're in, you're out. she has a lot of events. I personal people too, this is on the beauty side. I personal Margaret Cho every once in a while. I personal Charlie Wilson. So men's makeup is different than women's makeup certainly, but, and you know the funny thing is I get paid more to do his makeup than I do to do her makeup, which is odd, you know, but sometimes it's just like that. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna powder someone, and they're gonna give you $1,000. And then you're gonna go spend 20 days on a movie shoot covered in blood the entire time at midnight in Mojave, and they're gonna give you $150. You know what I mean? Like, and you think, why, God, why? But you do it because you love it, and then the more you work, the better the rate is. The better the rate is, the more you're confident about taking that rate, and then you know you just keep moving on from there. All right. All right. Well, so for the low-budget filmmaker, the one thing that I wrote here was like the kind of artist you'll most likely be dealing with if you're on a very low or tight budget is an artist that works out of kit. Because if you don't have a budget for, I mean, you might have money for prosthetics. So if you're spending $20, $40, $100, you know, that's fine. But generally, you're not going to have the money to do Hellboy, to do the full suit, to do, you know, Rebecca Romaine head to toe blue. You know, I mean, you could. I could probably do it $50. But, you know, so, I don't know, just be realistic. Be realistic in your ride. I hate to say that too. I hate to burst your bubble, you know, because I understand that it is fantasy, and when you're writing scripts, you want to be able to, you know, write the fantasy and write everything that you want to be able to write and put on paper. But you also have to think, okay, what is my budget? What will it allow? If, you know, be smart and reveal. A reveal is a really great technique that I think, I think a lot of low-budget filmmakers use this as well, where you don't actually see the throat being slit, you don't see the person being shot, you see the reveal of it. So you see the person shooting, and then we cut to person gushing blood. So you don't have money for the squibs, you don't have money for the VFX, you know, after and post and stuff like that. I feel like this is all over the place. All right, so it's up to you to find the artist that fits in line with your particular filmmaking. Just find someone who gets it and gets you. And the one big thing, let me skip forward here. Let me go to the filmmaker real quick here. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, so, well, I guess for you guys, well, where do you get your makeup artist? I think that's, yeah, just hire me. No, I'm not going to take more student film. No, but really, like, if it is a student film, where do you get makeup artists? If you're low budget, where do you get makeup artists? You can go to Mandy.com is a really great place to post. Craigslist even, you know, so, or Google it, or friends of friends. The best thing to do is ask your fellow filmmaker, who did you use? Who did you like? Call that makeup artist. Who do they know? Do they know any special effects people? Just kind of dig deeper. Let's see, recommendations, put an ad out and hope for the best. And I have gotten a really good job. I mean, I've gotten a few really good jobs for Craigslist. It is kind of scary sometimes because you don't know who you're getting yourself into, but you have to be all over the place. You have to get yourself out there. Okay, so you have a makeup artist now. What the hell are you going to do with them? You're going to utilize them correctly, all right? You're going to make a nice schedule for you and the rest of your crew. You're going to understand the makeup artist isn't, you're not just there to apply the makeup. So this is also really good for aspiring makeup artists as well. So you're not just there to put the makeup on. I mean, you are there to put the makeup on, but you're also the first point of contact for the actor. So generally, they're going to come to your trailer or come into the makeup room, and you're the first person that they're really going to get an opportunity to chat with that day. If you're a total they're going to be a total and the rest of your day is going to be horrible. So you need to be fun and funny and light. Keep it light. Do you know what I mean? And make sure they feel comfortable. Ask them, are you doing okay? Does this hurt? How's that pin? You know, those little things. Start conversation, get them distracted. If they're reading their lines or trying to rehearse their lines, shut up. Sit there, you know. So don't, what is that old saying, never miss an opportunity to keep your mouth shut, you know? Yeah?
What about actors who have like latex allergies and stuff? Like, do you make sure to ask before you start application?
For low budget stuff, you might not have that opportunity. You might. I'll always send an email that says, hey, but this is the thing, I just use non-latex sponges in my kit. I just buy them. So then I avoid it.
Well, like, because like most like aspiring low budget like films, you know, student filmmakers get the special effects artists from the schools.
Yes,
you know,
and those people are pretty green.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's
a
hard.
If that would be like to make sure the filmmakers say, hey, by the way.
Well, that's the hard part. I think if you are going to go to a school and ask for a makeup artist, I'd ask for, who's the best person in that class? Who's the person you think is actually gonna work? Am I opening a second one? Awesome. Who's the one, let me see some of their work first, because you can always just throw up an ad and see who bites, but if you ask, the teachers will tell you honestly, because out of my class at Joe Blasco, there were 40 people, 3 of us are working.
Oh, wow.
You know? Because people fall away, people just,
Well, like you said, you have to love it.
number one, you have to let, yeah, because I was making $500 a month the first year. It was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't know what I was going to do. I could barely pay my rent. I was driving back to Long Beach to work hours sometimes at the theater so that I could supplement my income. But you really do have to jump in with both feet because that first year is going to be terrible. I mean, it's going to be amazing and wonderful, but it'll be terrifying. And then after that, you'll start getting pretty good jobs, and you're like, okay, this is cool. And then you can just sort of start to balance it with private makeups, with films, student films, personal makeup. You have to do everything. This one, this is a funny one. This one was a really low budget one. And this is all just latex and tissue. We didn't have a budget for that one. I think I did this when I first started. So you just make it, fake it until you make it. Where was I? What was I talking about? Okay, yeah, so you're going to try to create a positive environment for your actor when they're sitting in your chair. Make sure they're comfortable. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, I've gotten people's hair caught in a blow dryer. I just cut some dude's hair like, we've all made mistakes, and that's fine, but you try your best not to. And the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the more confidence you'll have. You'll have more confidence to up your rate. You'll have more confidence to take better jobs. To take jobs that, the one, like the tree girl. I had no idea how I was going to do that, but I took it anyway, and I did it. And it was fine, it worked out. And the one weird thing about makeup, I feel like the universe is always on our side. I will take a really terrible job, and they'll have me do a bald cap or something strange. And I'll get through it, and I'll think, oh my God, you know what I would have done, you know what I would have changed? And they'll get a call for a big film, and they'll want the exact same thing. And I'll think, thank God, thank God that I had this little film, so that I could test it out. And I mean, they'll give you makeup tests. That's the one good thing about big films, is you will have an opportunity to test the makeup. They will want to see what it looks like, and you'll have to show them. That's scary too, because really, I mean, people, they want miracles from us. They really do, and they expect you to know everything, which is also frightening. Yes?
Okay, I have a question about the test.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
okay, so you go out to the, they want you to test. Do they give you like a time limit? Do they tell you, okay, only utilize this? Or do they give you a rough sketch? Do they show you a picture?
You'll have a pre-production meeting. You guys will sit down, you'll talk about it. The director, the producers, most likely the director will have a treatment that he's created probably, that he used initially to pitch this. So it'll have a description, it'll have reference photos, him or her would have given you reference photos. You guys would have discussed what you think it's going to look like. They'll give you a small budget to buy supplies. Usually I do the makeup test when they're doing the camera tests, so they're like Panavision or whatever, wherever they do the camera tests, and we'll do it there. So they can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
And do they give you time limit though?
Yeah, sometimes you only have 4 hours to do it, but it depends on what it is. I mean, a lot of times, okay, so for the Hungover Games, for example, the Tree Girl, I didn't even have a test for that. I was testing all that at home in my kitchen, and I was sending pictures and saying, do you like that, do you like that, do you like that? Because they frankly didn't have time. We didn't have access to the location where the tree where she was going to match was. And I'd worked with that director before, so he kind of trusted me. So he was like, yeah, no, yeah. So every situation is different. You never know what it's going to be like, and you never know what they're going to ask for. So you just have to be prepared. Let's see. So understand that the makeup artist, you're a babysitter, you're a psychologist, you're a comedian, you're a mediator, a mood setter, you're a shoulder to cry on. You know what, actors admit the weirdest to me. I swear to God, they will tell me their whole entire life story. But you need to be the kind of person, absorb it, take it, don't make a judgy face. Do you know what I mean? Because this is the trailer, the makeup room, wherever they've put you is the actor's safe haven. They're going to go back there, and they want to feel safe and comfortable. And you want to be the one face in the crowd that they can be like, oh my God, please, or because as confident as actors are, they're very self-conscious because it's their business to know what they look like on camera. It's their business to be on camera. So they're very concerned, does my makeup look all right? Am I shiny? 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 Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I take a brush. Sometimes I take a dry brush. I'm like, oh, you look great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always about the makeup. Sometimes it's about the psychology of it. Make sure that they feel good. You two guys, Make sure that they feel good, you know, talk to them about it. And this is one point, so when I did a lot of student films, I noticed in those classes they talked a lot about the technical aspects of, okay, so how do we light this? You know, this is how you're going to use the camera, this is, you know, sound, all the technical aspects of it. But I didn't see, where's that class where they teach you how to connect, you know, direct the actor? Where's that, where they teach you how to hire crew and, you know, utilize their time correctly to call them, you know, call hair and makeup and actors at the same time. Don't call sound with makeup. If I have a 3-hour makeup and then this guy's got to sit here for 3 hours, but you know what I mean? You call sound half hour before shooting call, or what, you know, whenever you need it, whatever's appropriate and stuff. I thought there would be much more like sort of introductory filmmakers in this, but you guys are not introductory filmmakers. Thank you for listening. All right. I'm not super demanding as a makeup artist, only because when it comes time to be demanding, then they'll listen to what I have to say. But if I'm raging from the beginning about how I need this and that, you know what I mean? It's collaborative. We're a team. And it's weird because I feel like, well, this is the strange thing about being a makeup artist. We're crew, but we spend a lot of time with the cast, you know? So we sort of sometimes have benefits that other crew, like the grips aren't. I did a film on location in Big Bear. Spent a lot of time with the actors, because you're doing their makeup, you're all in their face the whole entire time. And so when they had their day off and they gave them a per diem to go, you know, bowling and have fun in Big Bear, and the rest of the crew had to like sit and, you know, clean and stuff, I got to go with them. And that was awesome and wonderful. But, you know, but appreciate that. You know, rubbing people's faces, you know, just, I think you just kind of have to be the most savvy person on the set, because you're sort of that border in between, or you're the medium between the actor, the other crew, the director, you know, and makeup. So, tough job, guys. This is for a banner from The Walking Dead. It was just the website for The Walking Dead. It's close. As close as I got, guys. Okay, this is for my show Delusion, and this is latex and tissue. You know, and so sometimes you're really low budget. It was like our first or second year, so we really didn't have a lot of money. I had to be smart about it. You know, that's why we only have one contact, so we can make that stretch. You know, and actually one of the good things about being a special effects makeup artist when you're on set, you have a little bit more say than you do when you are a beauty artist. When you're a beauty artist, you do put the makeup on, you stand there, make sure they're not shiny, their lips are fine, and nobody really wants to hear from you. When you do special effects, you have a say in, you know, we should do it in this angle. We should, you know, let's do it from this way, or let's do it this way. You sort of sometimes direct the scene. You know, you direct the makeup, and you collaborate with the director. You know, but this is the one thing that really bothers me. And I know this may be out of place, but especially because low budget filmmaking is sometimes a casual setting. It's a lot of friends. A lot of people love to put their 2 cents in. Oh God, they just because maybe I don't know that you two are working together collaboratively. I know that you're the director, but I don't know that you're also producing this, so you have a say in it. So then you start thinking, oh, I'll put my 2 cents in it. Don't. No. Your job is to do the makeup, and sometimes it's the hardest thing just to shut up, because when you know that is absolutely wrong, but you know what? I'm here for the makeup. I need to keep my mouth shut. If you really have a problem, go to the AD. If you have a problem with the actor, go to the AD. If you have a problem with where you're at, go to the AD. I don't deal with the issues. Like, I don't go to the actor and say, what'd you do that for? I go to the AD and say, what'd they do that for? You know? And let them deal with it. There's a hierarchy. That's maybe my point is, there's a hierarchy in film. And follow that hierarchy. Just, you know, the director has a vision. Sometimes I don't always like the makeup that I've done, but if the director loves it, you know what? That's his baby, and that's the way he wants it. And good, I'm happy because he's happy. So, you know, go to your private makeups. Go to your, you know, the work that you create for yourself. And do the things that you want to do. But sometimes you have to make concessions because it is still a job. So if people are asking you to do things, you have to go and do them. I was just even talk about the things that a makeup artist needs. When you're on set, like, how about a chair and a light, dude? Like, you know what I mean? You'd be surprised. We are the look of the shoot, and sometimes we get overlooked. You know, like they don't realize, oh, maybe I need going back to the bathroom. You know, maybe they don't realize that that would be an uncomfortable place to put actors. You know, maybe they don't realize that you would need light. Maybe they don't realize that you would need a table. You know,
Or electricity.
I've been in a sewer, ankle deep, holding a lantern, turning someone into a vampire, swatting moths away and mosquitoes and stuff like that. You can't always pick where you're going to be, and sometimes you are in horrible places, and it will become a lovely memory, you know what I mean? But again, it's not going to do you any good to complain, because if you just complain all the time, no one wants to listen to you. So if you keep your mouth shut, the one time you do complain, they'll say, okay, this is an issue. And she never says anything, so I know that I need to address it. And that's just creating a good relationship with the director too. I work with a lot of directors. And I've worked with them so much that they'll throw me some references and say, just do what you want. And they'll love it, and that's fine. I mean, of course I'll throw things past them, I'll make sure, you know, like, do you want this and that and that. But to be able to create a relationship, so for directors to have a crew ready to go is ideal, and for a makeup artist to have a group of people that they constantly work with, or groups of people that want to work with them a lot. That's an ideal situation, because that's basically what I do. So this guy, this is just a tattoo cover that I do for this guy. He goes through, he's a liar. Actors are liars. Look at these tattoos that he has. He will go to castings. He'll hire me to come and cover up his tattoos. He'll go into an audition, and they're like, clean, clean. And they get hired and be like, oh, by the way, I'm covered, you know. And then that you know, creates a situation for us too, because when I worked on the Hungover Games, the guy playing Django, like we had a spoof on Django, hilarious. And they didn't tell us that he had tattoos. We show up, and they're like, you have 15 minutes, we gotta get him in and out of makeup. Takes off his shirt, he is covered in tattoos. Tattoo covers take a little bit of time and a lot of product, you know. So number one, I had everything I needed to, and thank God he was only in for 2 days. But that comes back to having all the things that you need. So you need a light, you need a chair, you need a table, you need a mirror, you need a nice kit filled with all the things that you can anticipate. You never know what you're going to need. Products like, and I'll go back to, I think I briefly mentioned it, but Alcohol Palette is an amazing product. It's Skin Illustrator's Alcohol Palette. It is a makeup that is activated by 99% alcohol. It's sort of like watercolor. So you can get it really, really thin, or you can get it really, really thick. So I'll use it for bruises, so it's really thin, or I'll use it for tattoos, so you can make it a nice thick black. That is a professional product. It is awesome to use. The makeup will stay. Oh, this is good, and I'll tell you how I did this too, because this is going to be something you'll encounter as a makeup artist. Tattoos are hard to cover. Bruises are even harder to cover. Tattoos you can cover up, because that's on the surface of the skin, sort of. Bruises, oh my god, like I'd rather do bald cat. Dermablend is beautiful. It's like liquid nylon for your legs, and this is just great just to have if you want to not wear nylon. Dermablend, you can use that, and it's a very thick cover. They also make a tattoo cover, but I just buy the good old-fashioned leg cover. Get that all over a nice thick coat, feather the edges, and then I take my it's a dark flesh tone alcohol palette, and it's a $75 palette, and I take a 75-cent brush. It looks like a little toothbrush, but it's like a little wooden brush with little bristles on it. And I just fleck all over to get that texture, and it's covered. You know, it's.
Do you airbrush it, or do you apply it with a sponge?
But I like airbrushing. I'm not a big fan of airbrushing. I'll do it as a base. No, I can apply it with a sponge. I apply it to the Dermablend with a sponge because it's kind of thick. So if you ran it through your airbrush, it probably would clog it. You can thin it down a little bit, then you would.
Do you powder it after?
Did I powder it? Yes, in between the alcohol palette. So put actually, you know, the Dermablend dries. It is, because you're using it as leg cover, or what it was initially intended for was a leg cover, it'll dry. So it's one of those like liquid to powder almost sort of products. So you can powder it, but I generally don't, because once you put a no color powder on it, you have that white, and you don't want to wipe at it. Do you know what I mean? And with all these products, it's like once they're on, they're on. And that's why I like Alcohol Palette, because it's not going to go anywhere. You can put it underneath costumes, and it won't. I mean, it might rub. You have to understand that there are just parts, just like a tattoo. If you get it on your elbow, or if you get it on a joint, it's going to start to rub away. So they're going to start to go away. So the same with makeup. Alright. So alcohol pellet's really good. So it's important to have all the things that you need in your kit. If you're going to do film, having a really good set bag is important too. So as a makeup artist, I've got a set bag with all my sort of on-set goodies. I have a beauty kit, and I have a special effects kit. Sometimes they overlap. I try not to. I keep all my special effects brushes in the special effects kit, and I keep all the beauty brushes in the beauty kit, but sometimes they want to play with each other, because, you know, it's not a straight line down the middle. You know, if a beauty queen is going to be horribly mangled in a fire, well, she's hot first, and then she's horribly mangled. So one side, you need to, you know, so that's why it's important as a makeup artist to know how to do all these things, and then have all those things in your kit. So I love that Dermablend. I love any kind of alcohol palette. And frankly, if you can't afford the 75, right now they make $45 like little baby ones for your set bag, which is great to start with.
And how many colors come in that? Is it?
They have a whole variety. So they have one that's just primary colors and basic flesh tones, like Caucasian flesh tones, and then one dark. They have ones that are dark flesh tone. They've got ones that have, like V-Neil, if you know who V-Neil is. She's like, oh my God, she's got a couple of palettes that are amazing. She's got, I think Walking Dead might have a palette too, but there's a Pirates palette. She's got a Pirates of the Caribbean palette. So basically, those tones. So like the zombie one will have like grays and browns and reds. And then like the alien one is going to have blues and greens and yellows. But you can, this is the best way to build your kit. Work. Because we're going to do supply budget. And who gets to keep the makeup when it's over? This guy. You know what I mean? So that's how you can't afford it right now, it's okay. When you take a film, say, hey, listen, I need a $150 kit fee. I need a $500, no, I'm sorry. I need a $100 supply budget. I need a $500 supply budget, you know, depending on whatever the project is. And of course, you can buy all the things you need for, you know, for the project. Sometimes you can buy duplicates of things to keep in your kit. You can justify it by saying, well, listen, if this prosthetic piece is ruined and I need to do it again, I have it. But, you know, hopefully you won't have to use the second one and you can keep it in your kit. But, you know, you never know. I mean, it's just up to draw. But those sort of things like alcohol palettes, they last forever. So, you know, so you'll have it beyond whatever you're using it for the shoot. This was for the PGA. Before Tupac at Coachella, this was one of the first ones, the hologram. They had, I don't know, God, years ago, but they used it for the Ryder's Cup. For the PGA, they were having a big award show. And so Samuel Ryder was the one who initially founded that, whatever that was. So they had him come and guest speak. They had an actor, we did the old age makeup, they shot it, and then they projected it at the award show, and like it blew everybody away. It was really cool. So sometimes you get to be a part of things that are sort of groundbreaking and you know, you don't even realize. Or I got to do another old age, like a character recreation for the Indianapolis Historical Society. It was for the, you know, the anniversary of the announcement of when RFK announced MLK's death, you know, or assassination. They did a whole holographic display. So they had a, you know, it was set dressed to look like the back of a truck. I guess whenever he made the speech, it was on the back of a truck out in the middle of the field. They were going to have some sort of event or like a protest, but then he ended up announcing the assassination. So they had all that, and then they projected all the actors onto it. And then that ran for a year in Indianapolis. So those, you know, little fun things that you get to do. All right, keep going. Yeah, this was just for a pilot. Nothing ever came of it. You're going to have a lot of nothing ever came of it, but that's okay. You're still going to have a lot of good pictures. And frankly, sometimes you don't want to remember because it was bad, and all you have is good pictures. You know?
I have a really random question.
Sure.
I got all these makeup artists in here.
Yeah.
None of them are asking questions.
Sure.
But you know they're listening to my question. Okay, 5 tools that you cannot live without when you go to a job. Just 5.
Oh my God, just fun.
The 5 that if you were dropped on a deserted island and you had to live on the monkeys, this is what you would take.
Wait, for beauty or for special effects? Because that's
Crossover.
no. That don't count.
Okay, 5 for beauty, 5 for effects. Okay.
Well, you know what? This is a thing.
Because I'm taking notes.
A good foundation. Damn it.
Foundation.
A good foundation. Because really, if your skin looks terrible, well, what do you do? There's nothing. So a good coverage, right? Then, you know what? Lip colors, because you can use your lip colors for your cheek and your eyes.
I'm an 80s girl.
And then just a couple of pencils, because you can use a pencil for your eye, your eyebrow, your lip, anything. And your foundations you can use to contour. So if, so I'm going to give you 5.
Okay, wait, how are you going to apply them?
My dirty little hands. No, brushes and brushes.
Okay.
You know, a good foundation brush. I think that's really important. Just, this is the thing. Okay, so I do that show at British Acts of Science. I was able to travel to England to
really good show.
I love it. I love all those guys. And I got to go to England to go shoot part of last season's season. And, you know, that 3-ounce rule was killing me, right? So I had to consolidate my kit, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I found a really great makeup forever bag that had like little individual pouches, and you know, they were clear mesh bags, and you could just tear them out and stuff. But I had to consolidate, and what I found out was I didn't need all that stuff. I didn't need half the stuff that I had in my kit that I was carrying around. Yes, it's nice to have weird things like glitter and stuff, you know, but put everything in pallets. I love pallets because then you have everything in there together. You don't need to carry around too much stuff. Because generally in the beginning, you are going to be climbing the mountain. No one's going to help you drag your bag up. You're going to be in the weirdest places. It's going to be hot. It's going to be so hot. It's always so hot. And I always wear black.
On the slide that was actually previous to that,
Okay.
where, that one, where you're doing something like that and it's completely blue, are you doing that all by hand or are you airbrushing something
No,
like
that was airbrush. So what you do is if you have to cover a lot of ground, I'll airbrush. You know what I mean? You gotta work smarter, not harder. So as much as I love getting in there with my hands, I will. So I have my assistant just douse them, just go all over. And then everything else is hand. So this, I found a nice little stencil at Michael's that I really liked. The director really liked it. I thought, well, that's kind of clever and it's geometric. Okay, cool. And then that little speckling technique, that thing will save the day. You can see all the freckles, right? Like how, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So with your alcohol palette, you make like a little slurry with your 99% alcohol. Get that little bristle brush, man, you know, and just get it. You can do it with an old toothbrush too. You can try that technique too, and it saves the day because really what you want is realism. You want to make everything look as real as possible, even if it is an alien. Well, this is real somewhere. You know, on some planet somewhere, this is what they look like. So skin, if it's affected by whatever sun that they have that causes the skin to be blue, you know, they'll have little freckles. Things, you know. Yeah, you just want a little bit of realism. This makeup wasn't even finished. At that point, I had finished, you know, gone back and done the eyes and stuff like that. This was just a test. So.
Okay, so when you're doing something like that, what if you don't have the color that you need?
You will always have the color that you need because you always have everything in your kit. Or if it's a makeup test, you would have purchased it because you've already discussed it with the director. If this is something for a shoot where, okay, we don't have a makeup test, but we're going to get right into it, you would have discussed this beforehand. You should never, I mean, of course you're going to have things in your kit just in case because, I mean, I walked into situations where like, we need blood on that baby now. And I'm like, well, all right, you know, we'll put the blood on the baby. But, and I did, how would I have known to have the blood? Just have it. When in doubt, bring it with you. I'd rather have an extra bag than not have, because man, that happened to me once. And I was using like eyeshadows and things to do like cuts and bruises, because they never mentioned, not once, they said this is a beauty gig, straight beauty gig. But I will always now just always bring everything with me, unless you, I mean, you'll know, right? You'll know for sure that this is a beauty gig and you just need your beauty stuff. And they'll make it very clear that it is a special effect. And this, we had a camera test, this is the camera test. We had, you know, discussions about it. Do we like the blue? Does the blue look good on camera? Does it match with the wardrobe? There's a lot that goes into it, so you'll have that opportunity to buy the supplies and then implement it on set. Yeah. This one, yeah, everybody wants their aliens blue. Everyone, come on guys, change it up a little bit. But oh, that's Rana. So that's the Samara. Yeah. And this is also her too. This was another one where we didn't have any work, so we just made work. Those are real chicken nuggets. Real day-old chicken nuggets. My sister and I were in Las Vegas. Well, here, go back to the chicken thing. We were in Las Vegas, and we were having a good time, and we go into McDonald's at 4 in the morning, and we see that you can buy 50 chicken nuggets for $10. And I was like, what would you do with 50 chicken? I know exactly what I do with 50 chicken nuggets. So I called my friend, her boyfriend works at the studio. I was like, is anybody booked for Saturday? She's like, no. Okay, Rana, my friend had just happened to dye her hair this hot red, and we are, I don't know, grossly obsessed with McDonald's in a weird way. And so, yeah, so, and then her friend shoots product as a photographer, so he shot it. He shot all this stuff separately. This is all like, you know, regular size stuff. And then we put her in a chair covered in green, and, you know, and then just kind of photoshopped everything in there, and we just had a bunch of different poses. But so in this one, horrible, because she's wearing a nude thong and pasties. When we were done shooting and we took all that away, covered in grease. But they're still good. I'll still use them, I don't care.
Yeah.
But you know, this is just a fun thing. It was something on the side, look how fun it turned out. We had a bunch of different looks. And like we were all happy with it, and it was great. And you know, it wasn't a waste of an afternoon, because you know what? When you don't have work, you make your own work. And then people see this and they think, oh my God. You know, they call it
like an advertisement in Europe for McDonald's.
Yeah, and I think the photographer actually used this as you know, I guess proof of visibility is in like photographing product. because he wanted to get into product photography, which is a strange sort of
That's
offshoot.
awesome.
Yeah, okay, and then the next one. So this was for the North American Hair Awards. You can submit there's all kinds of contests. There are a million contests that you can enter. It was for hair, but you know, when you're doing hair, you need makeup and wardrobe and stuff like that. So we put everything together. We shot in my friend's living room, and we submitted. Nothing came. That's okay. Yeah, but yes, you get the pictures, exactly. Sometimes it's just nice. Okay, and the next one was also for a Naha. Yeah, they said we were too elaborate. I was like,
Nothing's ever too loud.
oh, I know, yeah, that's gold leafing. I swear I thought I killed her. This is the thing. You really got to think about what you're going to do to people and when you do it and their comfort levels and stuff. She was actually affected more by the hair. It was really heavy and she was a really small girl. So she was kind of getting a little like wonky and I thought, oh my god, I put gold leafing directly out of this girl's skin. What's that movie?
Goldfinger?
Yes. So I thought, oh my god. Oh my god. Are you experiencing flu-like symptoms? Are you all right? She ended up being fine and it came away like, scrubbing. But you also have to think about what are you putting on people, how long are they going to be in it. I've been doing so many bald caps lately. Are you a filmmaker? Don't ever ask for a bald cap. Just don't. I mean, you can, that's your right. They're horrible. They're fine. You will be asked to do a bald cap, but that is an example of a makeup that is like, you're going to tear your hair out. Because if it's hot outside, the guy's going to start sweating. It's going to start collecting in the back of it. Because you're sealing it. You're sealing the entire thing all around the head. So now you're just creating this little bubble of disgusting, it's horrible. And I just did one the other day for 5-second films. And when I opened at the back, ew, just sweat came out. There was so much sweat. Where's the other one? It was like the split of the guy, and then he's like sort of a demon. Same thing. Okay, here's another thing for a filmmaker. Shoot the close-ups first, especially if they're in a crazy-ass makeup. Because I did one where the guy was a demon, bald cap, like a little prosthetic, all the makeup was fine, but bald cap, the more you sweat, that glue wants to come up. So they had him running back and forth in a parking lot, back and forth, in the hot sun. Everything was coming up. And they wrapped that scene, the windows out, they're like, cool, now we're going to do close-ups. And I was like, now I need another half hour to fix it. You don't want to give me a half hour because you don't have a half hour because we have a hard out of 10. You know what I mean? So like scheduling, I think, always letting the filmmaker know what you need from them. They should ask you. They definitely should ask you what you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I can ask her things. You say, I need a table, I need a chair, I need light, I need 2 hours to do this makeup. I think the best thing to do is under-promise and over-deliver. You think you need 2 hours? Tell me you need 3. Because when you come in at 2, sometimes you're trying to coordinate with lighting too. So you don't want anybody really waiting around in that makeup for too long. But if everything can come together at the same exact time, like that is an ideal scenario. So be realistic with your times. Say, listen, generally that bald cap's going to take me at least an hour. And then I got to put the nose and the cheeks and the forehead, and I got to lay the hair and the chin. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to need another hour and a half. So realistically, I'm going to need 3 hours. So you come in at 2.5, perfect, because they're just about done. They can rehearse a little bit, and then you can get this party started. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh yeah, like renting vanities. Like sometimes just providing a table, chair, and a mirror is totally fine. You can actually rent vanities from wherever you're renting your equipment. They sometimes also offer those things. And then keeping us close to a wardrobe is kind of nice too, so we can coordinate with them. And I guess the one thing that I wanted to mention was, oh come on, where's that? Oh yeah. Oh, okay, you have something more valuable than money. What is the one thing that you think is more valuable than money as a filmmaker? You've got time. So if you don't have a lot of money, make sure you have a lot of time. So you're going to schedule properly. You're going to do your makeup tests. You're going to make sure that everybody knows what time they need to be there. You're going to make sure that nobody's waiting around. I mean, ultimately, it's our job to wait around. But if you can coordinate everything right with your AD, then you're gold. Because having an angry makeup artist, having an angry actor, I don't know, having actors act out and things like that. And I've been in that situation before where the actor doesn't think that the director is in control, so they just start doing whatever the hell they want. And that's scary. And there was a big budget one that I was doing. I probably shouldn't say because it's recording, but he took a 3-hour lunch and he was scratching at his scar and scratching at that tattoo that I put on him and just could give it. And and that's because the director was like, well, I'm not, that's where it comes in, have a clear vision, express your vision, show me reference, tell me exactly what I'm gonna do. And I know that one guy in the last seminar had that question about, like, well, when am I gonna, if you ever deal with a director that doesn't have a clear vision, and generally that's gonna be on the lower level, but, I think it just depends on the personality of the director, or also the personality of the actor, So you just have to learn how to deal with people. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so do your best to move quickly, but sometimes you literally are waiting for paint to dry, Okay, so this is just, this was my final for makeup fuel. Did a little,
Is that foam?
Cursor twin, yeah. Yeah, so we sculpted it, we ran the foam, we painted it, and then we applied it. And I still keep this on here, I like it. It's from makeup school. I won't keep any of my other makeup school pictures. But when you're building your portfolio, you gotta start with something. So you're in makeup school, or you're creating your own work, you're gonna put all that stuff on there. The best of the best. And then, as you get better work, you slowly start changing out. Okay, like, oh, this one's a little kind of janky. I'm gonna put a better one up there. And then eventually you're gonna have a better, better portfolio. But just keep going, because you will get better pictures. You'll get better gigs, and then you'll have better budgets. And then with that better budget, you can buy better supplies. And with better supplies, you can do better makeup. And of course, it really is. It's not necessarily always the tools. If you know how to paint, you can make anything work. You can use eyeshadows and be like, damn, I don't have anything here, but okay, I'm gonna use eyeshadows and I'm gonna make it work. But it's nice to have expensive makeup. I'll tell you what. And that's a good way to build your beauty kit too. Is let them know that you do need supplies. This is for theater. So sometimes they'll call me in to do like a severed head, and I didn't bake this. If you go to Friends Beauty Supply, they have something called soft foam number 4. And I don't have any information about it, but if you guys email me, it's just catelrod@yahoo.com. CATELROD@yahoo.com. I'm going to be teaching a class. It's a 5-day course. You can take the 2-day, 3-day, 4-day, or 5-day, but on the 5th day, if you take the 5-day course, we're going to make severed heads. And I'll show you how to make them at home, in the comfort of your own home. Because you aren't going to be able to use your oven. You're not going to be able to run stone. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to have all the thousands of dollars that if you went to Glasgow or one of those schools that you could do. But generally, if you're making things, it's a quick turnaround. Sometimes, especially for low budget stuff. So they'll be like, listen, I need next week. And you don't have the time, you don't have the money, so let's do it. You just run some dental alginate all over the actor's face. Plaster bandage, you're going to create that mold, you're going to seal it, you're going to fill it with the foam, it's going to expand, you're going to paint it, that's what it's going to look like when it comes out, and you're going to look at it and be like, oh, it's horrible, and then you just start painting it, yeah, and then buy some pre-made mustaches and things like that, and then just dress it, get a nice wig, and match it to the actor. Yeah, it's kind of nice. You can do these things out of your house, and I think the best thing to do is, create the work for yourself, and just go into the shops, see what products are there. You might not be able to afford them. So the next gig you have, you'll buy it, and then you can practice with it, or get into with a good group. Because I have friends who do, they only work in labs, or they only do on-set makeup, or they only do beauty, or so I'll pick their brains. And I'll share secrets with people. It's not a secret, you know what I mean? Frankly, we're not each other's competition. We're not. We gotta keep it in the family, because if I can't take the work, I'm gonna give it to you, so that next time, you're gonna give it to me. I always know, like, oh, cool, I'll be able to call you, and you can take the beauty stuff. Very good. And that's how you get work, and that's how you keep work. Because it really is hard to find work, because it's all about networking. You can go to Mandy, you can go to Craigslist, but it's not guaranteed that they're going to answer you back. And it's a crapshoot, because whoever gets to that job first generally gets the job. Because they don't know you. They don't know if this is even your work. They're just going to take the chance that it is, and they'll hire you, and then it's not how you get the job in this business, it's how you keep the job. If they like you, they'll hire you for all the other stuff. But you also have to be aware, because sometimes people like to talk. This happens a lot with photo shoots. They're like, oh, I don't have a lot of budget. Can I let me just pay you a little bit this time, but next time. There's a lot of next times in this industry, and that's okay. That's fine. Maybe we'll get some pictures out of it. But they'll just kind of cherry pick. They'll go to the new artist every single time, so they get that cheap rate. But then you know that those people are not serious, and you no longer work with them. You just need to know who is serious. You will find out who's serious, and then you continue to work with them. But don't be afraid to say no. There's no such thing as you'll never work in this town again. You will only never work in this town again if you're a horrible person and you're not good at your job. But I've worked with people who are like, I don't trust this guy. I feel like they're scamming me. I'm not going to do it. you know, and you know what, and it didn't affect anything. All I did was stand up for myself, and I moved on to the next job. So yeah, don't be afraid to say no. I mean, don't be afraid to say yes too. So I think that's the hard part. All right, let's see here. Let's see what else. I think that's basically everything. But okay, this just goes for the. Are there still any filmmakers left in this room? Just this guy. Listen, hey buddy. Okay, so you're a low budget filmmaker. You don't have any money. You have a little bit of time. You've done all your makeup tests. You expressed your vision. You've told everybody. Everyone needs to know everything that they need to know. But how do you show your crew you appreciate them, and how will you compensate them when you can't? I mean, you compensate them monetarily, but not as much as you'd like. And we understand. We totally understand. We don't like it, but we understand. So one, feed them well. Feed me, give me food, and I will work all day for you. That's fine. You know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna pay me a day rate. And this is, don't listen to this. This is for the makeup artist. You charge a day rate, but also charge a kit fee. So you can separate those cells. This is good for you too. You can't offer a day rate, so I can offer you a kit fee. It kind of balances it out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's still all money in my pocket, whether I decide to go buy supplies with that kit fee or not. Do you guys know what a kit fee is? So you have your day rate. Let's say you get paid $200 for the day on set. 12-hour day, because I'm not staying past 12. 12 is standard. Yes, sometimes people keep you past 12. Generally, you shouldn't. And you should also have a 12-hour turnaround, which means from the time you leave set, so if I leave at 12, I'm not expected to be back until 12 the next day, because I need time to go home, to get home, to have a little bit of quality time for myself, to sleep, because they're having trouble in the industry where people were, you have 4-hour turnaround. So I go home and I come back in 4 hours, and people get killed. You're driving and you fall asleep at the wheel. So you got to keep it safe. Don't ask. I mean, ask for what you need to ask for, but don't ask beyond what you would do personally yourself. And I know it's your baby. You're making this movie, but also understand it's still a job. This is the hard part. It's show business. It's the show. It's the creativity. It's the fun. It's all the good stuff. But it's also business. I still have to pay my rent. I still have to do all these things. So I can't give you 30 hours of my time for a 12-hour, how much you would have paid me for 12 hours just because you're super passionate about it. If I did that for everybody, I'd be dead. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sleep. So you got your day rate. Let's say $150, let's say, is your day rate for your low-budget film. And that's not terrible in the beginning. If you are working 20 days, that starts to add up. And if that's all you can offer, then that's awesome. But also throw a $50 kit fee on top of that, and that is going to cover anything that you're using out of your kit. But that has nothing to do with the supply budget. So I am using things out of my kit, but I also need prosthetics. So I'm going to ask for $1,000 because I need, 10 days worth of noses. I need 5 days worth of bald caps. I need this, and always sort of overestimate, because you never know what will happen on set. Something could get ripped. They need to reshoot. I've been halfway through cleaning up a zombie where they're like, oh, you know what? We're not actually done. So you got to start all over and put it right back on. And in those scenarios, be nice about it. It's okay. It's fine. You sew what you got to put the makeup back on. Yeah, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but he's trying to film it, and he just blew his life saving with this movie. So, don't be a about it. Really, just try and create a very good environment for your actor, for your filmmaker, but don't be abused. I think it's a weird balance. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so casual sometimes, but you're in a casual environment where you work for 12 hours. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Let's see here. I don't know. I think that's kind of it. So you're going to charge your day rate. You'll charge your kit fee. You'll have your supply budget. You'll make sure to have a pre-production meeting. If you can't have a pre-production meeting with the entire production crew, just meet up together. Go have coffee. Talk about it. Send them references. Say, hey, listen, did you like this one? I remember, Return of the Body Snatchers. Remember that one scene? I really like that look. Do you like that look? Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, we'll try and do that. And I love working from reference because then whatever is in his mind is a vision. It is ultimately your goal to express his vision on camera. It is what he wants, to a certain degree. You're going to allow them to have an artistic license and sort of put their little jazz on it. But listen, if that's what he wants, give him what he wants, So, but be clear. And I think even if you don't know how to do something, you can figure it out. So take those jobs. Don't be afraid of taking those jobs. I'm sorry if this was really disconnected and sort of all over the place. I usually just demo makeup, so I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? What do you want to talk about now? Anything, guys? And it was all captured on film. Yes. I don't like to use the word cheap. I like to say, what is your most modestly priced blush? Because cheap, that sounds like it's cheap, but if it's modestly priced, you know. Wait, for what? For what? What kind of products? Like foundation? I don't use cheap makeup. I will use inexpensive pencils. I will use inexpensive mascara. I will use inexpensive lipsticks sometimes, depending on what it is. But I will spend my money where I need to. I will buy amazing foundations. Because if your skin looks really good, okay, you know what? I'm using an eyeshadow for the eyebrow. Okay, I mean, good eyeshadows are good too. I mean, I really want a good eyeshadow and a good lip. I really want all my makeup to be good. It's so hard. But if you had to say one thing, invest in a really, really good foundation, and then everything else you can sort of fake. Like DRFAME is a really, really inexpensive brand that they have at Nigel's, and they do cheek colors and eyeshadows. Not all their eyeshadows are amazing, but you gotta kind of cherry pick and decide which ones are best. You know, test them out, but their cheek colors are awesome, and they're like $2-3. And you're gonna. Oh, another way to save money too is buy the refill and make a palette for yourself. Don't buy the pressed powder in a compact. Like Make It Forever. You're gonna buy that for like $40, but you can buy the refill for like 25 or something like that. Also, if you have a couple of shoots under your belt, and have call sheets, you can go to Nigel's, Namies, and Friends, F-R-E-N-D-S, without the I, and they'll give you between a 20 and a 40% discount on product.
Where are these places?
In Hollywood! But you can order from their website. But you know what? It's nice. Make a day trip. Go out there. You know what? Email me. Because sometimes I live in Moreno Valley now. So sometimes I have to go out there and go shopping. So, and I have a friend that lives in Temecula too, and she's like, girl, I gotta make masks. I'm like, girl, I gotta make masks. Let's go to Hollywood, buy all our stuff, and come back. Or I'll try and schedule it when I'm working. So I will just go there a day before or that day early and then go shopping. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, you can get your call sheets together and prove that you've been on a set before. You can get that 40% discount. So you're going to Sephora and spending, you know, $20, $30 on all these like lip colors. You can go to Friends or Nigel's and really, really save almost 50% off. Because that's the thing, it's kind of really expensive to be a makeup artist. That's why start doing film. Even if you don't really want to do film, do a couple of them, get a supply budget and start loading your kit, and then just go do photo shoots. But you can also ask for a supply budget. But generally, only television, film, and strange things like this you'll be able to ask for a lump of cash before to go shopping and stuff before you do the shoot. So.
How is Namies spelled?
Naimies. But I prefer, in order of what I like, Nigel's, they have the best prices. Even if it's just 50 cents less, I'll take it because 50 cents turns into dollars, turns into $10. And I'll tell you what, I've walked out there with $500, $1,000 of this stuff, and it's 2 little ass bags like that. $1,000.
Makes you cry.
It does make you cry because it's like going to the grocery store, you put everything in the fridge, and I thought I just, So Nigel's is really great. They have FX help too, so you can go in the back and you can say, hey, listen, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. What product do you recommend? And they will. And, so the top 5 special effects products. Let's go back to that one. So you have all your beauty. So I really like the alcohol palette, and your 99% alcohol. That counts as one. Third Degree is a really easy silicone. It's a 2-part silicone compound. So just Third Degree. You probably order that on the internet too. You mix them together. Make sure you don't contaminate each little pot. You mix it up and you can create scars, bullet wounds. You lay it really, really thin and do cuts. Anything where you need depth or like dimension to it. And it's really, really durable. You can even peel them up and reuse them. I generally don't. I feel like they hold much better the first time.
Yeah.
Anything the first time is always going to be the best. If you're trying to, and foam latex pieces, don't even bother. Don't even bother because they're going to be mutilated when you try and take them off. But there's something called a prosade transfer. So prosade is just prosthetic adhesive. It's the glue that you're going to use to put a prosthetic piece on, a foam latex piece on. And I still use foam latex pieces. So if I'm doing like noses or ears or those sort of things, I like it because it's got a little bit of like give and it looks right. But if I'm doing cuts and bruises, or cuts and scars and gashes and things like that, I'll either use Third Degree if I'm trying to do it right now. But if you have a little bit of budget, prosade transfer, it's made out of that glue, but they whip it up really thick and then they shape it to look like a cut or a bullet wound or whatever. And you, with your 99% alcohol, 99% alcohol is going to be like, you use it to feather the edges, and it's good for injuries that are about like a quarter of an inch, you know what I mean, or like to give it a quarter of an inch depth, you know, and it is like amazing. Actually, go to let's see, go to close out of this real quick, and then go to celebrity. So these are some of the people that I work with, but if, oh here, well here, I'll just go through this. So start with Margaret Cho. So this is for the Emmys. So, like what is this?
Now, what did you use the alcohol palette for the beauty? Or?
No, this is, okay, so this is going back to beauty. Kevin Aquan for her face, because I love that foundation.
What is it called?
Kevin Aquan. Kevin Aquan. You guys know he did that Face Forward book. He died a few years ago, but the foundation is like the sensual skin enhancer or something like that. It is sort of a concealer, but I use it as a foundation because you can apply it really, really thin, but you can also apply it very thick, and generally for film or photo shoots or for live events like this, you kind of need, you know how you do your makeup for night as opposed to day. Day you're gonna go a little bit lighter, and nighttime you're gonna like, you're gonna beat your face. So, what's that?
I said use all your good stuff.
You hell yeah, use all my good stuff on her. She pays good money. So no, and you know, if she likes it, she'll call you back. So that's the important part. It kind of fell down here. It was a really hot day, and they didn't send us with her, so that's their bad. But yeah, Kevin Aquan for the face. The cheek, it's just like a generic cheek palette that I bought at Nigel's. It's a pre-made palette, and it has a bunch of, it's got like orange, pink, a bunch of little shimmer and stuff to it. And I love those because everything's right there with you. You don't need to just keep opening up your pressed, powders. But if you have a lot of those at home that you already have in your kit, see if you can pop them out and either double stick tape or see if they're magnetic and put them in, Make Forever sells like an $8 tin. You can put everything in. And that's nice because it also looks a little bit more professional. Everything's consolidated, you know, and if it's not that expensive makeup, they won't know because it's separated from its little container.
Now, what did you use on her lip? The lip was amazing.
I think it was a Moulin Rouge. It was a MAC lipstick that they did. They did a promotion with Moulin Rouge.
That means it's gone.
That means it's gone. It is, but I still have it in my kit. Like I'll use it sparingly, only on people who deserve it. But what is it? I'm sorry. Stila makes a really good, long-lasting lip sort of thing. It makes your lips really dry and gross after a while, but that's it. Yeah.
You know that with MAC, if you save all your things,
Mhm.
you can get.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Or find a friend who's a Mac Pro. I mean, sign up for yourself. I didn't sign up for it. I don't want to give them their money because I'll go and buy Make It Forever stuff. I already get 40% off at Nigel's, you know. But if you have a friend that's a Mac Pro, their lipsticks are $8, and I prefer their lipsticks because they're highly pigmented. Their eyeshadows are highly pigmented. I don't recommend their face makeup because it's a little, you get a little shiny with it. But their cheek, their lip, and their eye is tremendous. And even actually, you know what? They're long lasting under eye. You never know the secrets now. Oh, is it time to go? You gotta go?
Yeah.
Email me, whatever you want to email me. Ken@yahoo.com.
I've got
Oh God, it's forever on the turn. Yeah. And then I buy all my lashes over there. I'll buy all my lashes at Nigel's and stuff. They're like $1.50, you know. As long as you're keeping hair. Okay, and then this is from the Hungover Games too. This is all laid hair. So I just, I found a reference, I freehanded it, I drew it on there, and then I went and I laid chopped hair to make it look like a beard. That's also, laying hair is a good technique to learn. Generally, if you're doing a bigger budget film, you're going to use something that's laid on lace because it looks cleaner and nicer. But you'll have emergency situations where you're like, well, this person needs double, or this person needs sideburns, or something ridiculous. Okay. Robert Wagner. All right, keep going. I want to find the, this is Charlie Wilson that I do too. I did him and his wife. Let's see, I just did John Legend for Playing It Forward. This is Jennifer, you might not recognize her, but Jennifer Gray from, is it over? So wrap it up. Enough about me, then. No, but I just want to go, I want to see the bullet wound. Who is it? Ray Wise. It's just a good example of the prostate transfer. There you go. There you go. So see how flat it lays? That stuff is beautiful. It's amazing. Okay, so here we go. Alcohol palette. 3rd degree, prostate transfers, a good thick blood, and a good fresh blood. Done. That's it. Then thick blood, who cares? It's like $30 for a big old jar. And then Dapper Cadaver for all of your medical and dismembered limb needs. You know, they rent medical supplies. It's actually really good for a lot of, for like art directors and things like that to rent bodies or just weird stuff. It's all very dark there. But their blood is really nice and it comes out of a wardrobe. Thank you. That's not the way I thought it was going to end.